APIN system. That was the one that was connected to the Falcon matrix. And the Falcon literally spread its wings across the planet. So these were these little microchip-like implant grids that ran through the planet. What these grids do is they allow for communication, they allow for frequency transmission and broadcasting, but they also allow, they can fire, which means they'll pop and create little black holes along the whole grid that would connect. See, these were put in with the purpose of, when the stellar activation cycle came, to activate and fire them all, which would create a whole series of little black holes, kind of like, you know how when a needle runs across a piece of fabric from like a sewing machine needle, it leaves all those little holes. Well, if you do enough of those holes, that whole piece will fall right into the Phantom Matrix. That's what they were created for. The ones that the Guardian races created were meant to work differently. They were meant to create pillars of sound that would anchor our grids into the grids of inner Earth, parallel Earth, and another time matrix called the Miage Zone system, which is another one that interfaces here only sometimes, to give us pillars of energy that would allow us to not get pulled down into Phantom. So they begin to activate. The Zetas begin to activate in the 1930s their Falcon APIN system. Also in the 30s, they begin to assist to more fully organize Hitler's Nazi movement. They had a vested interest. They could do some interesting things with the Hitler guys. Well, one of the first things they wanted to do was to get rid of certain races that were competing. I'm getting tired. The races they were most interested in getting rid of were a certain group that had been very loyal to the Anunnaki Illuminati, and that they wouldn't go into the Zeta contracts. And these guys were Hebrew. They were passed off as Hebrew, but they weren't Hebrew people. They were Hybiru. They were the Hybiru race lines. Now, hiding under the guise of Hebrew, you have real Hebrew people, which were angelic humans. You have Hyksos, false Hebrew people, which were one of the hybrid lines from the Anunnaki side. And you have Hybiru that has both Anunnaki and Drak family lines in it. What the Zetas wanted done was to get rid of a whole bunch of the Hybiru and the Hyksos lines of what appeared to be the Jewish population, but to leave the ones that were the Draconian lines. And for a while, that was going on. As we moved through this period, we're going into World War and everything. I'll go down to here, because we have stuff to do in here that just blew my mind when I found out about what the whole Japanese thing was really about. Down here, but at first we had in the 30s, the Zetas and the Drak agendas were assisting Hitler. Down here, by the time we kind of moved into the 40s,